So, I just wanted to come on here really quick and talk about this because I'm sure that many people have gone through a similar situation, and I'm hoping that sharing my story will help. A lot of people right now are starting to look at college applications, grad school applications. This just has been on my mind and it feels very relevant, especially in countries like the United States where college is very expensive. So in my situation, I'm a musician. I studied music, but this applies to any study, any university, any college, whether it be an art school, an Ivy League. Why is the camera doing that? I'm going to be saying a lot of maybe music specific terms, but keep the bigger picture in mind. So for starters, I just recently graduated from West Virginia University, where I got my bachelor's in music in flute performance, and I got a minor in French. Let's go back in time 4 years. I applied to 7 schools, I think. Some of them were a little out of my league, some of them were a little too easy. There are 2 schools that I could kind of see myself getting into and studying at. And these 2 schools were the Oberlin Conservatory of Music and West Virginia University. So I don't remember, I think West Virginia University was actually my first audition, and I got accepted right away. Today, I got accepted into West Virginia University. I got into my major. Everything was good. And I was like, wow, this is so cool, because I had never really had formal lessons before college, so being able to get into a university for flute performance was a really big deal to me. I think a couple months later I had, or maybe it was next month, I had my Oberlin Conservatory audition. Everything about the school just felt right. I remember we drove into the campus and like the sun was shining through the clouds. Like the facilities were gorgeous. They had 2 separate buildings, I think. I can't quite remember. Maybe I'm thinking of a different school. But the music building was, the conservatory was just gorgeous. It was like, I mean, even the bathrooms, I was like, wow, if I get to pee in here every day, this is amazing. This is where my tuition would go. So many practice rooms, all of them had a piano. You know, there was this like little pond area right outside the conservatory. I mean, it just was gorgeous, guys. Like, unbelievably beautiful. Kind of in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, but like, that wasn't really, I wasn't concerned so much about that. I just wanted to practice and take lessons and be in orchestra and, you know, do all the things. So needless to say, I absolutely adored this school. West Virginia University, I had liked it. I really loved the teacher there. My audition, I had such a good experience at West Virginia. It just, the campus didn't feel like home to me. You know, it was very big, much bigger than I was expecting. You know, you just get a vibe from all the places you visit when you're looking at schools. And this one, I could tell just wasn't, it's not that it wasn't for me, it just wasn't my number one, you know? But Oberlin was. Just a disclaimer, these are all first impressions. These are not what I currently think. I'll get to that. I had loved the teacher at West Virginia, and I loved the teacher at Oberlin equally as much. So if it was between just that, I wouldn't know. But Oberlin had everything a step up. So anyway, I ended up getting into both schools. I got in! And getting into Oberlin was, at the time, my proudest accomplishment, because once again, I had not really had formal lessons before this. And so it was just really amazing that I was able to get into a conservatory. So what was really disappointing was that tuition at Oberlin, all in all, fees, everything, was around $70,000 a year. I knew that going into it, but I kind of was really hoping on getting some sort of scholarship because I just loved the school so much. You know, and I couldn't not apply. I had to. So in the end, I can't remember exactly what I was offered, but I think it was going to be around $30,000 a year to study at Oberlin. My family was unable to afford this. I could not have paid $30,000 a year to study at that school. West Virginia University offered me a full ride. I would have had $5,000-ish a year to pay for like housing and stuff. That's it. Future Ethan here. I just wanted to mention how incredibly grateful I was to receive a full ride. I knew that college would not be possible for me unless I received a very large amount of financial aid. So receiving a full ride was a dream. It was everything I had ever wished for. I remember my teacher called me on the phone to tell me the news. I was so emotional. So yes, I was so grateful for that, but it made the decision so much harder for me because where my heart wanted to be was at Oberlin. I just remember every single night for weeks crying, like just sobbing and sobbing because I wanted something so bad and it was right there. I had it. All I had to do was say, yes, I'm coming. But, when you're 18, you cannot fathom $30,000 per year. Like, you don't know what that kind of money is. You don't really understand. And my parents did. Thank goodness they did this for me because they told me, Ethan, I'm sorry, but you cannot afford $30,000 per year. Even when I still desperately wanted it, they said no for me. So I ended up studying at West Virginia University. It was hard at first, knowing I'm not where I want to be. I could be at Oberlin right now. It was really challenging. I had quite a few nights where I was like, I'm transferring. I remember crying in the stairwell in my dorm and calling my friend saying, I'm so unhappy, I have to go. It was not a fun time. And I felt so alone. Well, I didn't end up transferring. I stuck it through because I also knew that having a full ride, it was a blessing in so many ways. Studying at West Virginia now, I cannot tell you in how many ways it was the right decision. Like I said, it wasn't really about the teacher. I loved both teachers. After studying with my teacher at West Virginia for 4 years, I don't think I could have found a better fit for me. Studying with her, I completely transformed as a musician very quickly. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I realized you can practice just as hard at a university as you can at a conservatory. I decided, okay, I'm studying music. Who cares where I am? This is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna get good at it. But the biggest reason that it was the right choice is financially. So not only do I not have $120,000 of debt right now, but I have been able to do so much because I wasn't drowning in student loans. I have an extremely long list on my resume of competitions that I've won because I was able to afford the application fees, was able to travel to these competitions. I was able to buy a professional flute and piccolo. I have released an album. I've done so many amazing things because I was able to afford it. If I had gone to Oberlin, maybe I would have done 3 competitions, right? Because all of that money that I would need for the application fees and travel fees, that money would have had to go to my student loans. And also, can we talk about COVID? I mean, that was just bad timing, but could you imagine paying $30,000 to have online school? COVID took up basically half my freshman year and my sophomore year. That's devastating. Good thing I wasn't paying $30,000 a year for that. A conservatory is a much more... Future Ethan again. I'm editing and I realized this next part I was making no sense. But what I was trying to say is that studying music at a conservatory is much more intense and focused because most people are training to become performers. Whereas at a university, you'll come across a lot of people who are going into education or music therapy, lots of different degree types, not just performing. And so because of this, I had a lot more opportunities open to me as a performer. Whereas if I went to Oberlin, I would have been competing with all the other flutists who were also trying to become performers. And this was made very clear to me because when I asked Oberlin for more money, they said, sorry, we don't have a shortage of flutists, so if you can't afford it, we'll just ask a different flutist. But West Virginia really wanted me. They gave me a full ride. I knew that at WVU, I'd have a lot more opportunities. I was able to play a solo concerto with the orchestra because I won a competition. Teachers invited me to go play with their orchestra. You know, I was principal in the orchestra. I played principal on Firebird and Dvorak 8, like major orchestral works. I don't know what would have happened at Oberlin, but I can tell you that I probably wouldn't have won the concerto competition. I probably wouldn't have been playing solos as a freshman. And so there was a serious benefit there to choosing WVU as well. And now here I am in 6 days. I'm moving to Paris on a Fulbright grant for a year. I can tell you for certain I would not be doing that if I had gone to Oberlin. So, to summarize everything, obviously, if there's a school you really want to go to and you can afford it, do it. Like, 100%. Live your dream, do it. Like, I'm totally by your side. If you want to study at a school that is going to put you in debt for the rest of your life, it's not worth it. Chances are you'll get even more out of a school that doesn't cost even half as much. I'm telling you this because I've lived it. Things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And that is like literally the most cliche phrase ever, but like it could not be more true. You know, if you are in the situation where you have to choose, you know, the less specialized, the less whatever school based on money, be the challenge, be the thing you are competing against. Find the challenge within yourself and you will be successful. I can promise you that. Know that you are so valuable. Your skills are so valuable wherever you go. You are capable of so much. So anyway, I'm just here to encourage you. I hope that I've helped someone, just one person, because I remember feeling so alone. And so if you feel that way, just know you're not alone. I'm right there with you and I support you. It'll all work out. It's gonna be okay. You'll see. All for now. Bye.